Back to life, back to reality, back to life. I'm just gonna bring this one down and get off my high horse perched on a soapbox where I was coming with a lot of this last few videos, and I'll bring it back and actually get back to music a little bit. I wanted to say I was talking to so sometimes like if you I think it's really cool to learn another language, and if you one cool way to access another language is to think about or learn through things that have meaning to you. Like if you had been a mechanic, I've said that I think mechanics might be more useful to us than professionals, or the most useful professionals, because where are we going without mechanics or implications of the work of mechanics? That's something that's as we have the modern paradigm with vehicles. I read a book that said, it was actually a book about automobiles, and it said that the way that the United States was laid out, like around the time of like the I think like the 50s and after that, like when you're having people move out to the suburbs and you're having suburbs and stuff like that. A lot of America was built to cater towards the automobile. I said that in a training venue for becoming a city bus driver, and another trainee that I mentioned in another reference in another video that they had a pet peeve about cars. They said no, actually, America was designed for trains, sir. And he might not have been wrong about that, but this book was pretty adamant that the way that the suburbs are laid out, it had been more so for automobiles, not trains. Even though that I was engaging that person in like a part of training for city bus driving, and that training is from a the region where I'm at. The approach, the infrastructure is pretty strong where I'm at, generally speaking, relatively speaking, and that might be a cultural value of the type of constituents of this region, going back several decades to hundreds of years in this region. There's I'd say maybe there's a different set of values in different regions generally, and that might inform some of the choices around speech and etiquette and manners and customs, like idioms and dialects, but also some of the decisions around like infrastructure. So my father moved to the south, where we have like a lot of really good like some of our greatest artistic and like food influences come from the region where my father was at. But he said that when he first got there, he appreciated that it took longer to get stuff fixed around there, and like people they weren't bad at doing stuff, but they got around to doing stuff differently than they do where we were migrating from. And I recognized that doing a purchase recently, like from like halfway in between those two locations, but a different region, a different longitude, is that the way they communicate is different there. Where a lot of times I try to be very clear, and I kind of communicate like some of my family from the north, where they're very exact, and like they don't go let anything go assumed in agreements, or they don't assume anything where I'm from, and they have a lot of attention to detail, but they just don't assume things in dealing. But where you deal with someone like, so I made a interstate bargain, but the way that they approach things is that they kind of assume things like why are you calling me, man? I said this and that. I said I'd get it to your ass when I feel like it at some point, now or never, but it's gonna get you because I said it's gonna get you. But just hold tight and continue to. There'd be like in the old days they'd have like these Muppet movies. I always thought water pools look really cool on film. I don't know why. I like the water pools in the movie Casino, and in some of the old Muppet movies they have like choreographed group swimming, treading water together as a group. Maybe you could say all of life now. We're all some choreographed swimmers treading water. We were all barely treading water, but as a group and choreographed and artistic, as our ass about to go underwater. That's at least what a lot of my life is like. But I see other people similar straits, the Bering Strait of the swimming pool called the Bering Strait of Inflation, Bering the Strait of Inflation, the swimming pool of inflation, and but so as I'm trading water like that, I'm trading water, and I got text like, yeah, what's up with that rent? That's what's up with that late fee on the rent. What's up with that car payment? Even though the car didn't work that we gave to your ass. What's up with that? What's up with that phone bill? What's up with that? What happened? The car it didn't work. that's me treading water like that. But that I'm still alive to tread water. I gotta be grateful for that. Um, but um 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 but I was saying that I got but they do things differently. So they're expecting you to tread water while they take as long as it takes to get their act together. And if you were to even call them to ask like, well, can I just get an idea of when this and that's gonna happen so I can like make adjustments and make plans and make statements to people that are asking me about stuff too. Um, I said I was gonna bring that to you, man. And so that might be a little bit of a regional thing that they approach things differently because of different values. Where I'm at, they have a strong infrastructure around things like education and transportation, and it might be a cultural value. But and so the way that they do things here, as far as infrastructure and city planning and public transportation, has been replicated and emulated around the country. An example of that is when buses drive on the shoulder, like you have like traffic on a freeway, but then you have a shoulder that's been designed wide enough for buses to go down in rush hour, and the bus drivers are also trained. But part of that training is that you don't go more than 20 miles an hour faster than the speed of the vehicles that are held up when you're driving in rush hour like that. So the buses, they're yet moving along when they're going down the side of the shoulder like that, but it's very hair raising as a driver. You got that many passengers on your hand, and you're going down that tight. Somehow, if you're used to driving a city bus, the city bus feels different. I find that the school bus is more manageable than the city bus and also more forgiving. But the city bus is heavier, even though it doesn't look as big as the school bus. It's heavier and it's a little bit more rigid and unforgiving, I find. But you have that much liability and beautiful people on your hands on the city bus as much as a school bus, and you have the tight lanes of the traffic, but you're not supposed to go more than 20 miles an hour faster, but you're yet to keep it moving to get there on time. That's a lot of hair-raising detail and challenge for a driver. And I've done it at least once or twice, even in an articulated bus, the ones that look like an accordion like that. I've done it like that, but that actually was pioneered in the region I'm at, and the people that designed the infrastructure, they're the ones that started that practice according to the training that I received here. So when you see that around the country, that had stemmed from this region. But all I meant to say is that I was going somewhere with that is that they do things differently in terms of the way that they value things. but uh but um but so but all I meant to say is that you can you can learn something by talking about things that have to do with what you're interested in. So one would be like to talk about mechanics if you're mechanically inclined. Another one would be to talk about poetry. So I do poetry, like, and sometimes I say poetry to people that speak Spanish. And I told a brother, no tengo una esposa, sin tengo la guitarra. La guitarra, la cadena, la guitarra es la voz de mi alma. Y no tengo esposa, pero todos la mujer, todo el mundo adora la guitarra y el hombre también. Para tengo mi guitarra, tengo la corazón, todas las mujeres del mundo y respeto tengo respeto hombre todo el mundo, todo mujer con mi guitarra, con mi canción en la cadena de la guitarra, todo mujer, todo el mundo es mi esposa y todo hombre del mundo es mi amigo y todo chiquitos del mundo es mi chiquitos um, uh, con mi guitarra y todo el mundo es mi esposa sí, con mi guitarra. La guitarra es mi amigo y mi esposa, verdad. I said that, and I want to say that to live up to that is deep. To really live up to what I said there would really be deep. And so that's why I want to go with the next one and just do a little bit of music with the next one.